What happened in Friday practice for the Bahrain Grand Prix? Formula One has arrived. Friday practice, we had FP1 and FP2 today, and it was quite a lot spicier than we expected. And the first thing we have to speak about, Fernando Alonso, fastest in free practice 2, quicker than both Red Bulls. Yes, it's just practice, but no, I will get carried away because FP2 is the representative session. It's the one that's supposed to be the same or very similar to what it will be like in qualifying and the race on Saturday and Sunday. Fernando Alonso looks mighty, does he not?
Yeah, well, he was second in FP1, and I was like, it's not representative, it's only practice. And then this one, more representative. These are the quick runs. Alonso was the only driver in the 130s, quicker by a tenth than both Red Bulls, and their long run pace is amazing as well, which I am trying so hard not to get excited about this, but it's insane.
Also, probably whilst we're speaking about Fernando Alonso being faster than both Red Bulls, also worth mentioning that Perez has looked more comfortable than Verstappen so far this weekend. Interesting to see if Perez comes out the blocks firing just like he did last year. Maybe Verstappen is just chilling, but perhaps Perez has closed the gap for the start of the year again.
I boldly predicted that he would, well, not boldly, but I was so confident this year that he'd come out the blocks and be fine because it's not this huge change in regulations. But it does appear that Sergio is more comfortable at this moment in time, but not as comfortable as Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin. I just can't believe this is happening, and I can't say it enough. My prediction that we all kind of laughed at, that I said Alonso would finish 7th in the title, Aston Martin would be the 4th best team, looks like it could be wrong, but for not the reason we thought it would be wrong. It's absolutely insane.
We have made an F1 fantasy league on Grid Rival. Yes, that's right. With the F1 season fast approaching, you need to come and join the league P1 with Matt and Tommy. Grid Rival is the most in-depth F1 fantasy league out there. Choose your team and drivers with 100 million in the bank, sign drivers for a contract term of your choice, engage with other league members using the live chat function. You can literally tell me how awful my team is, and try to become the best scoring team on the grid. So what are you waiting for? Download Grid Rival now and join our league P1 with Matt and Tommy. Link in the description. Let's go look at the other side of the garage now. Lance Stroll, of course, a shock return, I would have to say, considering the rumours and the whispers that were coming out about how damaged his wrists were. But he was back in the car after, to be fair, a little while longer than perhaps he would have wanted, because there was issues with the car in FP1. But more of an issue for Lance Stroll was the fact his hand was hurting. Like, you saw a replay, especially into turn 1, where he had to actually change the position of his left hand to kind of go on top of the wheel. And his team even said to him that you need to change your line through there to basically go through it faster. And he said he couldn't because of his hand. Why on earth is he in the car? He's not going to be able to do 57 laps without having to alter his hand position a few times in the race. Yeah. What happens when he goes wheel to wheel?
We were shocked, weren't we, on our watch along by that. Watching him go around that first corner, he couldn't grip the steering wheel to take the first turn, and that is just insanity in a Formula One car. Like you say, like if he's doing that now, either 57 laps into the race, or like say when he's side by side with like 4 other cars going into turn 1, it's a hazard. Like it could be dangerous.
Let's move on to some other stories from free practice, one of which, Nico Hülkenberg, up in P5 in the Haas, looking very saucy, it has to be said. Not so much on K-Mag's side, down in 16th, but Nico Hülkenberg on the soft tyre, 31.3, 4/10 off what Alonso managed, already kind of going along with what we both said, that Hülkenberg isn't washed at all, and he's actually a very good driver with an unwanted record.
The biggest surprise of the season, you said as well that you were very, very tempted to as well. Had a great session, kind of settled into that Haas very quickly, and this is what we said, that Haas do normally start the season good. We both believe that Hülkenberg is that guy to bag some big points. I mean, they would absolutely love it if he would be P5 by the end of the race. That maybe looks a bit ambitious, but it's only practice, unless it's Alonso and he's going to win.
So a team that maybe not so calm, Mercedes. don't look so great, do they, at the moment? P8 and P13 in free practice 2, Hamilton 8th and George Russell 13th. It's just not quite where you would expect. Mercedes just not looking quite like they've got the handle of that car yet.
No, it's a worrying time for Mercedes. Hamilton 6/10 off. George was nearly a second off Alonso. I can't believe we're saying George Russell in the Mercedes, a second off Fernando Alonso in P1. It seems like they've got rid of that porpoising, which we all thought, the Mercedes would be amazing as soon as they get rid of the porpoising. They got rid of the porpoising, but they just don't look particularly good. It's very, very strange for a team like Mercedes.
It is round 1 free practice. Let's just keep reminding ourselves of this part, especially if you're a Ferrari fan. Sainz had a spin in free practice 1. Ferrari had an issue with their rear wing because they're going with a 2-prong and then 1-prong approach, and Leclerc's one was 1-prong as far as I'm aware, and it was wobbling all over the place. And Leclerc also had clutch issues. So a fantastic start if you are a fan of Ferrari or either Sainz or Leclerc, which, neither of us in this podcast are, of course. Oh, God. I mean, look, Leclerc was 4th. It's not too bad. 4/10 off Alonso. Potential for at least qualifying trim. I'm not sure about long runs just yet. It's been something that they've struggled with last year, and it looked like they were struggling a bit with testing as well, with tyre degradation. So whether that's an overnight fix, I doubt. Ferrari, not the cleanest Friday you've ever seen. Sainz's spin in particular was quite a big moment.
It was a huge moment. It was very lucky that there was a lot of runoff there, because that could have been any other part of the track and you're going straight backwards into a barrier and maybe even ruining your gearbox as well. So he was very lucky that he could just continue.
Anyway, moving away from the front of the field, weird to say that with Alonso and the Aston Martin, to the midfield. It looks very tasty, to be honest with you. You've got Haas there, you've got the Alpines, you've got even the McLarens. Lando Norris, P9 today, not the worst, I guess, and it's just the same with how Lando always is. He gets the most out of that car, no matter if it's a decent one or not. Lando, not too bad. Piastri, not so great. And your prediction, wasn't it, Tommy, of one of the Williams out-qualifying a McLaren? 2 positions, 4/10 between Piastri and Albon. It's going to have to be a stinker from Oscar in order for that to come true.
Williams do look, despite how they looked fairly decent, they look like they are struggling. I mean, it looks like the midfield is insanely close from what we've seen. There's, you've got a Ferrari in 4th and 14th. You've got a McLaren in 9th and 15th.
Don't you dare bring Ferrari into this as a midfield team. I will lose my mind.
Everyone's really close. And then Williams and AlphaTauri, which I think a lot of us predicted having a tough old time. There's a big old, like almost half a second gap for those guys. So we could be seeing the pain train for Williams and AlphaTauri battling for the last spots.
I cannot wait for qualifying. I cannot tell you. It is going to be brilliant. We're going to be live streaming on Twitch, Matt P1 Tommy. So come and join us there tomorrow, where the hype may well get to the point of our heads falling off and chairs getting flipped and all kinds of good stuff, and that's just from Tommy's side. I don't have a clue what I'm going to do. Probably just weep into my chair as Ferrari get knocked out in Q2. But let's see, all right? It's going to be very exciting. Tommy, what are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts are absolutely make it a must to join us on the Quali Watch Along, because last year I actually wasn't on our previous Quali Watch Along when Fernando Alonso went P2 in Canada, and I don't think I've ever cheered at sport more than that moment, just because it was so unexpected. So if he's actually battling for pole position, it's going to be incredible.
Our expectations have gone through the roof. Either or, worth tuning in. Matt P1 Tommy, come and join us there. We'll see you very soon for another video or audio or wherever you are. Goodbye.
Bye.